Numbers can tell so many different stories, but at the same time, they hide them. As a researcher, this is a very frequent thing that I come across. In my job, I'm supposed to breathe life into numbers. I'm supposed to see lives in numbers. And I'm supposed to tell people's stories from numbers. But here's the thing. I haven't come across any numbers that would tell my story. I haven't come across any numbers that would remind me of what I ate for. And I haven't come across any numbers that would remind me of my pain until very recently. These numbers were from a research project that I started in the August of the last year about the rate of violence against the LGBTQ plus people in Kazakhstan. Almost 150 queer people decided to take my survey and share their stories of abuse. And when I sat down to analyze the data and put these numbers into stories, I was so shocked for the truth they have revealed about how it's really being LGBTQ plus person in Kazakhstan. The most shocking data was the fact that 1 in 3 LGBTQ plus people have been victims of abuse. But only 1 in 10 out of all the stories of abuse have been reported to the police. And when I started wondering why LGBTQ plus people don't seek legal protection, I found 2 main reasons for it. Firstly, because there is no protection. If you're an LGBTQ plus person in Kazakhstan, you're basically a second-class citizen. You don't have equal rights as other citizens do. You're not going to be thrown in jail for being who you are. But if you're assaulted or killed, the person who murdered you won't be jailed either. Basically, hate crimes in Kazakhstan are justifiable because our society believes that it's us who deserve to be humiliated, abandoned, violated, and annihilated for who we are. Secondly, LGBTQ plus people do not seek legal protection because half of all the abuse comes from parents and other family members. Basically, LGBTQ plus people don't dare to report their own families who are supposed to be the source of their biggest support but end up as the source of their biggest misery. Just last winter, I had an argument with my parents about my orientation, and I ran away from my home. I didn't have any money to afford a hostel for that night, so I basically decided to take a couple of blankets with myself to keep myself warm and slept under a balcony of a random house. I'm so sorry. The root cause for my problem was my financial dependency on my parents. Because I had no money, no job, and very few qualifications and skills to get employed, I couldn't buy myself a house or rent a house to move away from that abusive environment. Ever since that night, I have been strongly convinced that no one should suffer in the trap of financial dependency if they are abused in their own homes. My personal experience is what inspired me to take action. Currently in Education Community, we are realizing ProYouth project, which aims at developing professional skills among LGBTQ plus youth who are in this vicious circle of financial dependency. We are providing free workshops in marketing, HR, and sales for queer youth from all over the Kazakhstan. And actually, we started this project just 2 weeks ago. And the first group of participants have just finished the marketing module, and they are currently learning the basics of sales. And I hope that in the next 3 or 4 years, the numbers will change. I wish I could say that the numbers will change to tell the stories of love and acceptance among LGBTQ+ youth. But for now, ProYouth aims at creating the stories of strong and independent LGBTQ+ youth who are able to take their own lives into their own hands and never ever get violated within their own homes and families. Thank you.